So hello, everybody. Happy Saturday morning. So excited to be here with everybody. I am here with the amazing Dr. Joe Vitale. And before we get going, Joe, I just wanted to, I channeled the council, and this morning it was just this beautiful meditation. I got this block of thought that I just had to write down. And so I wanted to share with everybody. It's amazing what a book can do for people's lives. And just if you had one thing that you take away from a book, one part of a concept, one kind of thought, the council was saying, imagine if you purchased a book for $15 and read one thing in that book that changed your life, that shifted a thought, that maybe shifted a perspective, that allowed you to feel more at peace and centered within yourself, that allowed whatever you're transitioning from and into right now, that the transition, because of what you learned, was a more joyful transition instead of transitioning in struggle. And that's what a book like The Desire Factor can do. Although there are many, many, many points in the book than just one sentence, one concept, one thing can shift you and therefore shift your entire life. Because as you shift from a lower level vibrational thought or perspective or emotion to a higher vibrational thought, perspective, emotion, your life shifts. This is law of attraction. And as your perspective changes from lack to abundance, as that shifts, so does your entire world. So imagine what a book like The Desire Factor will do for you. So Joe, I am so happy because you have written many of these books that help people shift, and you've changed lots of people's lives, and you are just the most generous. Like you're just such a leader that is so generous and so giving and so walk your talk. And I'm just so grateful to call you my friend.
You're going to begin by making me speechless. I'm embarrassed. Thank you. I accept, and congratulations on your book. Your book is amazing. I've been promoting it to everybody. You can tell by my background here, these are real books. This isn't a painting. That I absolutely do love books, but I read so few that actually sit up and bark, so to speak. And yours does. It sits up, it barks, it rolls over, it gives you tricks, it tells you all kind of wonderful tools, techniques, insights. It's really a success literature classic that has just been born. So congratulations. I am genuinely impressed, and as your friend, proud of you.
Aw, now you leave me speechless. Wow, that is, I'm literally like, I have energy moving through me. I feel all hot, and I'm just, thank you. That is just such a beautiful, beautiful endorsement. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I love how your analogy is, you're so focused right now. Joe just got a brand new little Frenchie puppy. And so you said it sits up, it barks, it rolls over.
Right.
I love where your mindset is right now.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking of sit up and bark, but it was like, I got a puppy in the house now. So I am thinking in terms of what do I get this dog to do? But yes, you're right. We just got the puppy yesterday. We haven't even had it 24 hours yet. And as I was telling you earlier, I've had animals my entire life until the last 2 years, with a divorce I was going through, with some moving, with a pandemic, with some changes personally and professionally. No critters around. But I had my eye on wanting, desiring, if you will, a French bulldog. And anybody who's been following me on Instagram or Facebook knows he's obsessed with French bulldogs, because I was posting all these videos of them, funny videos, humorous videos, shocking videos, French bulldogs skateboarding in Russia.
I remember seeing that.
Staggering. But then the time came recently, and we came across a miniature French bulldog that happened to be born on Lisa, my partner, Lisa Winston's birthday 12 weeks ago. And it was like everything was lining up to go, now's the time. Your desire has come full circle. Now you have to learn to potty train, which is the next desire.
Well, it's true. Doesn't a desire lead to another desire, lead to another desire? And that's how it goes. I mean, that's what desires do.
That's the beauty of life. Without desire, we would die. There is an organic, natural desire in us just to live. I had seen a quote a while back. I don't know where it came from, but they said, if you really feel depressed and you want to end your life, go to the ocean and jump in, because your life part of you that wants to live will take over. It will make you flounder. It will make you want to survive. It will make you want to get out of the water, because there's an organic part of us that just wants to live. It has the desire for life. But there's also the part of us that wants to grow. And we grow by reaching, by stretching, by going for more. And what's another word for that is desire. So desire is what's keeping us alive, and desire is what's keeping us growing. Desire is a spiritual tool for growth.
Yes. Quote unquote, Joe Vitale. End scene. No, I mean,
Right.
seriously, that it's true. And so what do you tell people, or even what do you tell yourself, when you have a desire but you don't give yourself permission, or when you tell other clients that you teach that, they have a desire but they don't believe that they can attain it? Because the Buddhists say that desire is the root of all suffering, right? It's like total split energy, because you have this concept that we're a desire, like we're talking about, and the way that we see desire as being life-giving, and it's an avenue for growth. Like you said, it's a spiritual tool. And then you have a religion slash spiritual way of thinking that says desire is the root of all suffering. I say, if you have a desire and can't believe that you can attain it, that's suffering.
That's it. I would agree with that right there. It's an attachment to a desire that is going to cause the suffering. In one of my most popular books, it's The Attractor Factor, I say step 5 in the 5-step formula that's in that book is to let go while taking inspired action. And it's been confusing to people, and I often have to keep explaining, letting go means let go of your psychological need. Let go of your attachment, let go of your addiction. You can desire something and be totally at peace with it or something better showing up in your life down the road. Yeah. But it's that life or death attachment to something where I gotta have the French bulldog or I'm gonna die. I'll never be happy. I'm gonna die alone and just feeling meaningless without my French bulldog. No. It's that playful quality of, I would really like to have a French bulldog. That is my desire. And at the same time, there's an ebb and flow to life. I want to be in that ebb and flow. When the timing is right, the French bulldog will be there. I will be there, and we'll go desire complete at that point. But it's the addiction, it's the psychological heaviness that will make it misery, that would make it suffering.
Yeah. And so you're 100%. I mean, in the desire factors, step 6 and 7 are a more expanded experience of that. And that one is surrender. You have to surrender the split energy to that. You have to surrender all the negative thoughts about that, all the places where you're holding any type of resistance. And that point, it's like, okay, the one that gave me the desire, that knows how to achieve, the divine knows when your Frenchie was born. Right? Unless you got the information, you didn't know that there was a French bulldog that was being born, but the divine did and organized everything to get you to the place where it's like, boom, this is your dog, right? Yeah. And or the partner or the business or whatever the desire may be. But it's that surrendering to that one, and then, like you said, taking inspired action, not from a should or a have to or got to or hard work, but really allowing, and really you can only take that inspired action when you're just receiving, and you're literally emptied to the divine's idea, because then that leads to inspired action.
So you had asked a moment ago about what I would tell people or what I tell myself about their desires. Desires to me are coming through me personally that are unique to me. So the desires for Christy are unique to Christy. The desires for somebody that's watching this are unique to them. And they probably don't overlap, and they probably don't agree. I mean, you may not care anything about French bulldogs, or other people watching may not care at all. It's an important desire to me. So the very first thing I tell people is your desire is unique to you because it has been given to you personally. It's been given to you from the cosmos, from the divine, from God, from the great something, whatever you want to call this higher power that we are of. And so when the desire comes, I want to honor it. I want to honor it because this has been a gift to me. And then I want to join forces with the great something or the cosmos to bring it into being. And I know along the way, there'll be stretching, there'll be adventure, there'll be uncertainty. One of my favorite stories about desire is, and I think you know this, Christy, but 7 years ago, I decided that my desire was to become a professional musician. And I wanted to go in the recording studio and I wanted to write my own songs, sing my own songs, play my own songs, be the lead singer, have my own band, make my own album. And this was completely unusual for me because at that point I was turned the age of 60. I looked around and I said, what else do I want to do? What's on my bucket list? Be a musician was there. No musical background, no musical skills, played a little bit of harmonica, but that was it. Had some guitars, but I didn't know what I was doing. I knew 3 chords. That was all. So I have the desire. So that's my intention. My desire has been given to me. My intention is now I want to make this so. And then I always tell this story because I want people to realize whatever they think of me, whatever level of success they think I have, whether they see me as a guy who knows how to achieve great things or not, I fell into fear. And I point this out because whenever we go for a desire that is completely different than our background, completely different than what we've been in our comfort zone to experience, we're going to be nervous. We're going to be uncomfortable because we're leaving our comfort zone.
Yes.
So I almost quit. I almost gave up. And I thought, now, how would it look for the guy who was in The Secret, who's written 80 books, who has coaching programs, who travels around the world saying, hey, expect miracles. And I give up on being a musician. So I had to use all of the techniques I know. I had to channel all of the new material that come in. And I ended up, long story short, I've recorded 15 albums so far. 15. I've been in Rolling Stone magazine. Some of my music has been used as soundtracks for movies. A couple of my songs were nominated for the Posy Award, which is the Grammys of positive music. And I'm saying all of this, not to brag, but to make a point. The point is, this guy who looks like he was already successful decides to follow a desire in a different realm. Because of it, I was nervous. I was actually afraid. The truth be known, when I went to play on stage with my band, I was freaking terrified, because it was a desire that was uncomfortable. Yeah. But I got through it, made the 15 albums, I have all of these other results from it. And I've learned that whenever you go for a desire that is unusual to your past history, you're going to feel uncomfortable. That's not bad. That's actually exciting. It's actually a good sign. You're doing something different. You're pursuing a new you. You are going in the direction of new growth.
Yes. And you have the ability to, if you feel that fear, process the fear. That's what we talk about in the desire factor, right? It's like how to process that energy that does come up and then move forward in anyway. It's like Susan Jeffers said, feel the fear,
do it anyway.
And do it anyway. She didn't say stick with, suppress the fear, just don't do anything. It was like, feel it, like really release the energy of it, feel it, and then move forward, because it's always going to come up, whether it shows up as doubt or whether it shows up as fear, or whether it shows up as worry, it's going to show up. And if we just go, oh, there it is, because I'm stretching, right? Then we can go, this is either the contrast that's showing up. This is the obstacle that I have to overcome. This is the emotion that I'm feeling. This is the thought that keeps thinking, or the perspective. It's like when we know how, like you were saying, you applied your tools. When we apply the tools, then we can release it and then continue to move forward.
One of the biggest tools is just awareness. And that's the awareness that the part of us that's nervous is the part of our brain that's just trying to protect us. When we reduce it to that and realize, oh, it's my brain, it's already hardwired for survival. It's trying to take care of me. And it's interpreting what I want to do as a kind of a threat. So we want to stop and we look at it and go, okay, is being a musician really a threat? No. Is being on stage really a threat? No. So when we look at it, is this actually dangerous? Is what you want to do, is getting a French bulldog at the age of 67, we're 2 seniors raising a baby, and I've never raised a puppy, ever. And so is it dangerous for me to do that? No, not at all. There's going to be a learning curve. I already got some blood on my finger. I'm learning already.
Oh, they got sharp teeth, don't they?
They're baby teeth and they're already tearing my skin. But the point is, and this, I'm saying it for everybody that's watching, no doubt they have a desire. And their first step should just go get your book, read the book, underline it, reread it, find out what all the steps are and apply those. Then the next thing is to realize that when the nerves start kicking in, it's only an automated wiring in our brain that is trying to alert you that this could be dangerous. So the next step would be the question, is it actually dangerous? If it's not actually dangerous, then you can probably go ahead and do it. I've said that if I wanted to, I've never climbed mountains, but if I wanted to climb Mount Everest or some crazy thing, I would, of course, be nervous. But I'd also be excited, and I'd also be smart enough to read all the books about mountain climbing. I would hire coaches and trainers, and I'd put it off in a distance. I'm not going to go climb that mountain next week. It might be 2 years from now because there'll be a training program to do it. But once I faced, is it actually dangerous? In that case, maybe it is. What would I do? I'd take every precaution so it isn't. So I think this awareness of where the fear is coming from helps free us from it.
Absolutely. And it's through awareness that you can't do anything, you can't change anything if you're not aware of it. Right? I was talking to my mom and dad because they're in their 80s. My mom's 85, my dad's turning 89 next week. And for as long as I have been alive, they just bicker and fight at each other. And they have a horrible relationship, just a horrible relationship.
Wow.
And yeah, and they wanted to move into a house with us in like a casita or a guest house. And Frederick and I got clear after seeing, still in their 80s, they've been married 65 years, they still bicker at each other. And when I approached them about this and said, listen, we're not comfortable with this. We don't want this negative energy. They're like, we don't bicker. I don't yell at your mother. And it's like, this first step is awareness, because you cannot change anything unless you're aware of something.
Right.
So, they were like, we'll be on our best behavior. I'm like, you're not aware you do it. So how can you change it? And that's just it. If you have the awareness, if you're so connected with yourself, and that's the thing too, is right, that alignment with yourself to know that, because some people are like, I don't have any desires. No, yeah, you do.
Right.
If you're hungry, you desire to eat. That's a desire. Right? So people say, oh, I don't have any desires. And it's like, no, your brain is telling you, don't go for the bigger things that are out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Because you might get hurt, or you're too
Right.
old, or you're too young, or you're too this, or you're too that. Your brain is telling you that there is danger. You're going to get out of your comfort zone, like you were saying, Joe. And then it makes you go, oh, well, I don't want that. But you can't say that you don't have desires, because if you are alive, you are desiring something. Like you said in the beginning, you're desiring to be alive.
Right.
Even the fact that your brain is saying, don't do it, there might be death associated to it, or there might be, something that's very risky. You have this desire to be safe. That's a desire.
Yeah, when people tell me they don't have any desires or they don't know what they want, I have a tough love approach. I look at them, Christy, and I go, you're lying. You're lying to me and you're lying to yourself. We all have desires. The reason we don't admit them to ourselves is now we have to make excuses for not going for them, or we have to actually start going for them. So it's often very easy just to go, I don't want anything. I'm fine. I don't know what my desires are. Wish I did. Wish I knew what my intentions were. That would be so cool. But this is where that awareness has to come back in. The human experience is based on desire. The organic one we were talking about that is unconscious is just the desire to survive. That's already there. That's hardwired into our brain. But then the other desires that are there, sometimes we don't even admit them to ourselves. I mean, we all want to be happy. Sometimes we don't admit that. We all want to be healthy. Sometimes we don't admit that. We all want to be approved. We all want to be loved. We all want that experience of acceptance. But these are desires that, depending on where somebody is in their state of consciousness, they might just dismiss it. They might just go, that's not for me, or that's BS, or that's bogus, or I don't want anything at all. And I really do have a tough love approach. It's like, come on, look in the mirror, be ruthlessly honest with yourself, and tell at least yourself, if not me, what you really want.
Ah, I love that. It's so true. It's so true. So, it's like you have to give yourself permission to even want it. And I hear some people are like, well, life's supposed to be hard, or life is hard and that's just the way it is. Yeah, it is, because you believe it to be.
Right.
You learned that life was hard from somewhere along the way. You made a decision, but that decision is literally what you're attracting into your life. Because if you have a desire for life to be easy, for life to flow, then it will be, because we attract what we believe, we attract what we think,
I totally agree with you. I think what's missing for people is that they're not aware that they've been unconsciously programmed innocently by other people ever since birth, and depending on somebody's philosophy or psychology, even before birth. But from the moment we're born, we are being downloaded the belief systems from the culture, from the media, from the education system, and not to mention just our immediate parents. And I will tell people, I said, were your parents Mr. and Mrs. Buddha? Were they enlightened? And everybody laughs. It's like, no, not even close. Well, you downloaded their own limiting belief systems. And most likely they thought life was tough. My father was born during the Great Depression. He was 5 years old when the Great Depression in America had hit. And so he lived to be 93 years old. And all of that time, he always believed in scarcity. All of it, because it was programmed into him. And in fact, when I was growing up, a large part of that was programmed into me because of him. But because I read a lot, that's one of the ways that you can awaken, as you pointed out early on. Just reading a book and getting an idea, even if it's just one, can pop a new insight and a new awareness in you. You read enough books and get enough insights, and you can actually shift your paradigm. But most people that are doing what you just said about thinking that, well, life is hard. Yeah, I thought life was hard when I was homeless. I thought life was hard when I was in poverty. When I changed my mind and brainwashed myself in the most positive explanation of that term, washing my brain of the limitations, the negativity, all the stuff I downloaded, then I started seeing prosperity and experiencing it in the very same world I'd been occupying all along.
Yeah.
So we've all been programmed with these limiting beliefs, but innocently. We didn't take them on and for the most part consciously choose them, but we did absorb them. Yeah. Now, with books like yours, there's a chance to awaken. We can awaken to what our programming is. We can accept our desires. We can actually go for them and actually manifest them.
Yes, like your little bulldog, which I have to tell you, there is not a puppy I don't stop. I mean, my whole neighborhood laughs because all the puppies in the neighborhood, when they were just itty bitty as a puppy, I would be driving home and I'd see a brand new puppy and I would literally park my car, jump out, and oh my God. So now all the puppies in the neighborhood, because they've known me jumping out of their car, they know my car. Right. And then they see the car coming, they're like, right. And I just get crazy with these puppies. There was a puppy at a soccer game the other day, and I got up and walked halfway across the field because I saw this little puppy coming. I'm like, there is no puppy that I won't stop for, because for me, oh my gosh, Joe, it's like that's God's way of saying I love you when it creates a puppy.
That's good.
So love on that little cabby as much as you can, even though she's got very short teeth. I get that. And when Jax was a baby, I was like, dang, it's like, it's so funny, the polarity. You make something so cute with such vicious teeth,
Right.
We got cactus blooming in Arizona right now, and you got these prickly cactus with these beautiful, beautiful flowers. And I'm like, it's just such an example of polarity. And it's like, but what do you focus on? Do you focus on the prick, or do you focus on the flower? Do you focus on the teeth, or do you focus on the cuteness and the love that you get?
Yeah, that's all choice. And we have choice. I love animals so much. I just have to tell you that when I'm walking, and of course we don't do it as much during COVID and all of that right now, and I meet somebody who has a dog, I always ask what the dog or the cat's name is. I often forget to ask what the person's name is. And even if I did hear what the person's name is, I almost never remember it, but I remember the pet. And I'm like, I got to work on both. That's one of my new desires. I want to be able to remember the person and their pet.
Right. I was just telling Frederick that this morning. We were walking Jack's, and then a dog walked by, and I go, well, that's Charlie. You know, that's Charlie. It's Charlie's dad. And he's like, who? And I'm like, Charlie, the German Shepherd puppy. And he's like, oh, yeah. I don't know the guy's name,
Right.
but I know
Right.
it's Charlie's dad. Oh,
Right.
that's so funny. Joe,
True
I
animal
love
lovers.
you. Yeah. I love you so much. I appreciate
Oh,
you so much. And thank you for sharing your time on a Saturday with me and with everybody on Facebook, and how you've supported the book, and, you know, just this movement of we need now more than ever, we need to awaken to our desires, because a lot of people in 2020 had a lot of contrast that came up, and there's a lot of
yeah.
transition that people are in. And, you know, when you start moving towards your desires, it is always going to be an easy road. Is it going to be rainbows and lollipops and unicorns? And no, there's going to be stuff that stretches you, but the freedom on the other side, and the expansion, and the good feelings and the aliveness that we feel when we attain a desire, even if it's getting a puppy, is
Right.
so worth the journey.
Right.
So
And I
thank
would
you.
add one thing. I would say those challenges that we go through are actually good. They're there to develop a part of us that was latent, but needed a challenge to develop it and pull it out of us. So it's a different way of looking at it. But I think one of the problems with people who watch The Secret or get into the law of attraction or go after a desire and then have a bump in the road is they give up. They quit. They get critical. They get skeptical, and they think the road is going to be easy all the way through. And it's like, it's going to rain. There's going to be a storm. There will be a bump in the road. There will be a challenge. And as long as you know that's part of the life experience, but you can continue to your desire, even with renewed enthusiasm and strength, you can attain it. So,
Yeah.
Christy, I love you too. Thank you.
Thank you. And you know, it's people like you that create tools and give tools so that, you know, when we're in that storm, right, we can take out the umbrella,
Right.
right?
Right. Take out the umbrella, be safe.
Exactly. So with that, thank you, Joe. Thanks everybody for watching. Appreciate you all. Take care and have a wonderful day.